First of all, I kind of apologize if I sound tired. That's because I am. You wouldn't have known this if I didn't tell you, but I'm having to redo my entire piece on winning and losing, and it's like, it's 11 p.m. on Sunday right now as I conjure up this miracle. I work tomorrow morning, and no one really watches what I make here on YouTube, so my initial thought was I could just make up some sort of excuse as to why I didn't have a video out on Monday. And, because, I could just easily bail or lie, but I'm done doing both of those things. I've resolved to not do that anymore, because I need to see things through right to the end. That's what I'm basically going to be talking about right now. And it's gonna get personal. It's gonna get personal. It's not what I had originally intended for, at least Monday, or I don't know, it's just not what I had originally intended, but I suppose there are some similarities that can be drawn from this and what I had originally planned for the winning and losing. I guess to really make a good comparison would be, I had been losing for incredibly long periods of time in my life, and it was really taking a toll on me emotionally, physically, mentally, just bashing my head up against a goddamn wall for years, like 10 plus years. And I can't do it anymore, you know. I owe it to myself, I owe it to my friends, my family, to really just, be myself for once. And that's what this is. That's what this YouTube channel is an attempt to do. That's really what it is. So that's where this is coming from. I can't really think of something to talk about, and my initial thought was to just make up some sort of excuse, and then I immediately caught myself and said, no, I can't do that. I can't do that to myself. I can't do that to any other person. No one would know. No one would know except me. And I can't handle that. I can't handle it anymore. That's a huge problem. Like, especially if I know that there's an issue and I'm just lying to myself, man, like, that type of thing can drive a person insane. And that's exactly what it's done to me. It really has. So, I guess I'll just begin this. I've been searching, I guess you could say, for a missing piece to a puzzle for maybe, 10 years or more now. The problem is that the piece was never missing to begin with. I think I might have hidden it from myself, or I was pretending that I didn't have it. And I think that because I've had this experience that some people might be able to relate to that, or are suffering a similar type of hell, or could possibly even avoid it entirely. You know that one Einstein quote, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, welcome to my life. That pretty much describes it. I feel like right now, in this sleepy, caffeine-induced psychosis, that hopefully this pain can be avoided by someone if I tell a little bit about my story. Because I think a lot of people live their whole lives in that hell. And, I'm not completely out of it, but I am at least, on my stomach out of that pit. My legs might be dangling a little bit down in there, but I'm on my way out. I'm clearly on my way out right now. And a lot of people just never realize their true potential. I personally can't accept that. And I don't think anyone else should accept it either. I know I haven't explained what that missing piece is yet, but it's important for me to explain a little something before I get into what the missing piece of my puzzle is, because it's a setup for what my fear is. The thing that's haunted me for as long as I can remember is the madness of society. To put this into perspective, not a whole lot makes sense as a child growing up. Even once you get older, you kind of bluff yourself into thinking you understand how the world works, but it's only until you've reached maybe your mid-20s or even older when you can sort of, kind of decipher it. You figure out that everyone's operating on unfixable bullshit, that no one really has a strong grasp of why and how this thing is holding itself together, because it's really a duct-taped society. It's so damn fragile, and most people don't even realize it. The only thing you decipher when you do quote-unquote figure it out is that your initial inclination that none of this makes sense is actually more accurate than you had hoped. You assume everyone knows what they're doing because they're older and they have a greater understanding of how the world operates, when in reality, they're only a few steps ahead of you due to first-hand experience. There are entire sciences built upon fictitious human constructs that are designed to fuck ourselves over. I'm talking about things like political science and just politics in fucking general. Oh, figure that out. Figure it out for me, please. Explain to me or another person, hell, an alien. Let's just try to explain it to an alien. Generally what government is, how it operates, and has operated in the past. Well, it's a group of people whom we elect who represent the majority of sections of land we've arbitrarily divided up into countries because we don't get along with each other, and that we've decided that the best way to run our planet is by dividing ourselves. A lot of them lie to us and keep things a secret from us because they believe the less we know, the better. They also don't trust us, and they spy on us on a daily basis. They are also the only group who is, when owed money, can legally throw you in a cage for extended periods of time. Sometimes we fuck other countries up because we want something the other country has, so we try to take it from them by force. We also have a history of almost blowing ourselves up because we wanted to measure dicks. Each respective government of each plot of land almost across the board does nothing in the people's best interests, and it tells us what we can and can't do, even though it doesn't hurt anyone. And so the people of that plot of land generally just accept it for what it is and never raise a fuss about it, hoping that someday the people will be properly represented by a small handful of people who are only looking out for themselves and their own interest groups, who also just happen to have the greatest influence. The alien would be like, what? Wait a second. So you're saying a small handful of people who lied to you to get into office and don't represent your beliefs are in power, prevent you from doing things that don't hurt anyone, can throw you in jail, keep secrets from you, and can send you off to fight in wars against people you have nothing against or telling you what to do? How about get me the fuck off this planet? I'm going home. If I were an alien, yeah, I'd get the fuck out of here. That shit's crazy. But I was born here. On top of that, understand that we're all Little Red Riding Hood here, and that the only reason society exists as luxuriously as it does is because of things like electricity. If the line was suddenly cut, make sure to take your parents' advice and stick to the beaten path, because what lurks in the outskirts of town isn't designed like a Disney movie. Our society is so fragile, like my puzzle. A missing piece, and this house of cards will come crumbling down. Look at our own lives. We're all hanging by a thread, and though I believe things have gotten slightly better over the years, we're still a long ways away from truly accepting one another for who we are. Take me, for example. Until recently, I've been working a Jenga tower with all the middle pieces taken out. It's enough to drive a person mad. But here I am talking about it finally. Sorry, I talk in games because I truly love games. The missing piece to my puzzle was a forced hiatus of my inner artist. It took me all the way up until I finished college to understand I needed to find it again. It quite literally saved me back then. It bailed me out of a bind I might get into some other time. If not for it, I don't even want to think where I would be. The problem was, I was scared to find it. I was scared to complete the puzzle I had been working on for so long. If I complete it, what happens next? What if I fail? What would I do? Countless questions I had no answers for. I still don't have all of the answers. I'm never going to have them, but you can't let that hold you back. It took me an additional year or so to finally coax it out after I found some success with writing, a safe outlet which required my artist to be present. But since then, it's grown rather hungry, and now that it's found, it wants me to complete the puzzle. All I need to do is put it in its correct place. I was scared. I'm still scared. I can admit that, but it's not going to hold me back. Reason being is that I'm scared of something else far more. I'm scared of regret, of not seeing something through until the very end. I'm scared of seeing my life pass me by while I work a job that means nothing at all. I'm truly terrified of giving up 8 hours a day, 5 days a week to a machine that doesn't give a single shit about me or you or anyone else. It doesn't care about your hopes or your dreams. It just wants to suck all of the life out of you, every last ounce, and then throw you away. It holds you accountable for everything you do, even in your off time, through things like drug testing. Or for example, I've even gotten in trouble for being deathly ill. I was pulled into the office like a student who was caught smoking on school grounds and told to stop it, otherwise I'll be fired. It's not like I was going around licking door handles at all the 7-Elevens and shopping centers around town with the intention of being on my deathbed so I could have an excuse for not going to work on Monday. I was sick for nearly 2 weeks with something. I don't know what it was. Talk about world's worst vacation. I understand the company's position, I really do. But the format is broken. The entire format is broken. What is spontaneity worth in the machine? Trick question. It's worth nothing at all. It has no place in the machine. It chews you up and it spits you out. It uses you until you have no use. I'm done with the lies. And that's it. I'm not even talking about lies to other people. I've been lying to myself for so long that I just can't do it anymore. I won't bail this time. Not for anything. I owe it to myself. I'm not entirely sure what it is I'm trying to illustrate here. I guess I just needed to get this off my chest because I've never really talked about this with anyone. At least I don't think I have. I guess I'm just being real. Just being real with you right now. And I really do hope that, someone will stumble across this video sometime. And, maybe it'll help them. I don't know. I mean, that's the most I could ever wish for. Thanks for listening, and take care.